session, we have with us Dr. Sacchidanand Mishra ji, who will be speaking on a very important topic, the Knower in the Nyāya Buddhist debate, looking through Nyāya Kusumanjali. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Mishra ji. Thank you for making time for the session. Just a brief introduction. Professor Sacchidanand Mishra ji is the member secretary in the Indian Council of Philosophical Research since 2021. He is a well-known academician in the area of Indian logic and epistemology, conceptual development of Navya Nyaya, Advaita Vedanta, Shuddha Advaita Vedanta, Kashmiri Shaiva schools, and Indian aesthetics. Besides being an erudite scholar in classical philosophy and literature in Sanskrita, he is a professor of philosophy and religion at Banaras Hindu University in Varanasi since 2010, where he had joined as a reader in 2004. He had also served as a lecturer in Nyāya at Rashtriya Sanskrit Samsthan, Sadashiva campus, Puri, and he completed his PhD in 1997 on the topic Ishwarasya Darshanantara Drishtya Paryalochanam, and he has a triple master's degree in Navya Nyaya, Shankara Vedanta, and Samskrita Sahitya. He has also been a recipient of Maharshi Badara and Vyas Samman for the year 2009, and he was selected by ICCR for the prestigious Sanskrit chair at Sorbonne Nouvelle University in Paris in 2012. He has authored and edited around 11 books in the field of Nyaya, Vedanta, and other areas of philosophy and Samskrita literature. He has also edited eminent research journal Anvishiki, and he has contributed chapters in various books and published more than 50 research papers in various journals. Thank you very much, sir. Please go ahead and start your session, Dr. Mishra.
Namaste. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on the place of knower in Nyāya Buddhist debate. And the topic which was chosen actually a little bit confusing, in the sense that I have taken Nyāya Kusumanjali as Nyāya, the nature of knower is depicted in Nyāya Kusumanjali. However, in Nyāya Kusumanjali, only a few verses are available which deal with this concept. Udayanacharya wrote a very important text on this issue itself, that is known as Atma Tattva Viveka. It would have been wise to take this text, Nyāya Buddhist debate, this text, Atma Tattva Vivek, to deal with this issue. But in order to avoid much problems, because in Atma Tattva Vivek, this is a big book, and there are so many issues, Kshanabhangavad, Bahyartha Bhangavad, Dharma Dharmi Bheda Bhangavad, Anupalam Bhavad. So there are 4 chapters available in Atma Tattva Vivek, and this book is dedicated to the place of Atman, the analysis of Atman from Buddhist perspective and from Nyaya perspective. And in the beginning of Atma Tattva Viveka, Udayanacharya tells very clearly that whoever, whether it is an Astik or an Astik, for both of them, the nature of Atman must be known to get liberation. Because for the Astikas who believe in the existence of Atman, the knowledge of Atman is necessary for the liberation, and who doesn't believe in the Atman, in the existence of Atman, that is the Buddhist, for them, this is also required to know very clearly that there is no Atman. Atman does not exist. This knowledge is required for them. So here we have 2 positions. One position which says that there is Atman, and another position which says there is no Atman. So these 2 are opposite positions taken by the Naiyayikas and Buddhist scholars. you might be knowing that there are so many Buddhist systems. Basically, 4 Buddhist systems are very famous: Vaibhashikas, Sautrantikas, Yogacaras, and Madhyamikas. Besides these 4 systems, there are many more systems which are not so much popular, but these 4 are very much accepted and very much famous. And in these 4 systems, what is common? If you ask this question, the very basic point which is common, that all of them don't accept the existence of Atma. So the point could be raised that I have taken the topic to present my talk on the nature of knower, and I am discussing the concept of Atma. The reason is this one, that for the Nyayikas, the knower is the Atman, and for the Buddhist, there is no knower at all. So this is actually very basic idea which differentiates the Nyaya system from Buddhist one. For the Nyayikas, there is a knower, and the knower who remembers, who does. So you can see that there are 3 things: knowing, willing, and acting. So the person, in other terms, in Sanskrit, we can say there is a karta who is also bhokta. The person who knows, who desires, and who enjoys the fruits of those doings. So this is the Nyaya position, which says that there is a person who knows, who remembers, who acts. And for the Buddhists, the position is completely opposite. And from commonsensical perspective, the Nyaya position is very well easy to understand, because we behave in that way. Our day-to-day life goes on in the same direction. Whenever we are eating, when we are reading, when we are moving, so in all these actions, when we are speaking, so in all these actions, in all these experiences, the Nayayikas say that there is a knower, or there is a doer, or there is a person who remembers. So for the Nayayikas, for the existence of Atman, to believe in the existence of Atman, there is one very basic point, which is the ground for this belief, that is our experience. We have such type of experience that ahamidam karomi, I am doing it. Ahamidam janami, I know it. Ahamidam smarami, I remember it. And not even this one. There is another type of experience also available, which says that I am the person who saw saw Devadatta, and now I remember Devadatta. I recognize Devadatta. So here, knowing, remembering, and recognizing, these 3 are done by the same person. And the Nayayikas are of this opinion that this identity must be accepted. And if this identity is not accepted, our every experience, our every behavior will be contradicted. Because in our day-to-day life, in every moment, whenever we are doing something, we know and we do. So it will be very problematic to say that the knower is a different one, and the person who remembers something someone different. So here, the knower and the person who remembers and the doer, these are identical from commonsensical perspective, from our behavior perspective, and this is the position adopted by the Nyayikas. So, for the Nyayikas, the knower, the doer, and the person who remembers is actually one, identical, and that person, that identity is based on a substance. That substance is known as Atma, because this identity cannot be established on any other ground. So if you believe only in the body, there is no possibility to establish the identity of the person who remembers and the person who perceives. So, drishta smrita, drishtasya smritasya cha aikyam svikartavya. We have to accept that the person who is seeing and the person who is remembering is identical. So this identity can be based on only one substance, that is Atman. This identity is not, this identity cannot be established, cannot be based on body. It cannot neither be based on senses. It can neither be based on this mind. Therefore, there is a need of an Atman who is eternal, who is existent, who is changeless. So this type of Atman is accepted in Nyāya philosophy, and this Atman is actually knower. So when we are talking about the nature of knower, this is actually the idea. We are talking about the nature of Atman. And here comes the Buddhist challenge. Buddhist, whether these are Vaibhashikas or Sautrantikas or Madhyamikas or Yogacharas, all these philosophies, these four philosophies are completely different philosophies, opposite philosophies. We cannot identify these four philosophies because their concepts differ from one another so widely that these concepts cannot be taken to be identical. And here there is a debate, internal debate in Buddhist tradition. The Madhyamikas say that their philosophy is actually propounded by the Buddha. There are yogacharas, and they are of this opinion that their philosophy is actually actual teaching of Buddha. And Vaibhashikas and Sautrantikas are also of this opinion that their philosophy is the actual teaching of Buddha. You can see, you can classify these four philosophies, Vaibhashikas and Sautrantic philosophies, you can classify as realist philosophies. Realist philosophy means where in the philosophy, the object of knowledge is taken to be different from knowledge. That is a realist philosophy. And here in Vaibhashika and in Sautrantic philosophy, the object of knowledge is taken to be different. So these are realist philosophies. And Yogachar is idealist philosophy because there is no reality is available. There is no object different from the knowledge. Therefore, it is said that yadantar gyevadrupam bahirvad avabhasate. So whatever is internal, that appears to be external. So there is no external object. And actually, the point is this one, when the Buddhist philosophers say there are no external objects. That means there are no objects at all. There is only consciousness, there is only cognition, or there is only knowledge. And that knowledge, that awareness is actually taking forms of different. And it is there are only akaras, the form, and knowledge. There is a knowledge and the form of knowledge. And from these two, the form of knowledge does not differ from knowledge. Therefore, there is only knowledge. Therefore, it is said that they are Vijnanavadins. They accept, they believe only in the existence of Vijnanas. There is nothing which is different from Vijnana. And this position is completely opposite position from Vaibhashikas and Sautrantikas. There is third position which is accepted, proposed by Madhyamikas, Shunyavadins. They are, and Shunyavadins are those who are misunderstood so widely, because in Buddhist tradition itself, there are many confusions regarding what is the idea of Madhyamika, how Madhyamikas should be understood, how Shunyavad should be understood. Because at least there are three positions. One position says that Madhyamika philosophy is actually a kind of nihilist philosophy, but a close reading of Madhyamika Karika and other texts clearly gives hint that this philosophy should not be understood as a completely nihilist philosophy. So this is nihilist philosophy. If this is nihilist philosophy, then the objections which are raised by Kumaril Bhatta, where he is taking the position of Madhyamikas, Shunyavadins, as Niralambanavada. And actually, this is not Niralambanavada. This is Shunyavada. When it is said that मुख्यो माध्यमिको विवर्तम अखिलम शून्यस्य मेने जगत. So Madhyamikas says, Madhyamikas say that this whole world is actually vivarta of, imposition of shunya. So this shunya is actually alambana. However, there is a point how this shunya should be understood. Because the Madhyamikas say that shunya is chatushkoti vinirmukta. Shunya cannot be defined as existent, nor non-existent, nor existent, non-existent together, nor denial of non-existent and non-existent together. So this idea, this shunyavad, if taken in this way, is something which propounds that there is shunyavada is actually not niralambanavad, it is not nihilism, but it is a kind of indescribable type of tattva. This is actually a kind of tattva, reality, which is indescribable. And that is the basis for all these. And there is third type of, because I have been telling you that actually this Shunyavad philosophy can be understood at least in three ways. So this third way, and there are more ways to understand the Shunya philosophy. The third way idea is that this Shunyavad is not willing to propound any theory at all. So whatever is there, that is empirical, and at empirical level, every statement is actually can be taken at empirical level only, and we cannot go beyond this empirical level. And this empirical level, this empirical word is actually not true. It is mithya, it is maika, So in that way, this philosophy can be understood. But whatever be the position of Buddhist philosophers, regarding the nature of Atman, they all unite. The nature of knower, they all unite. This is to say, who is the knower? What is the nature of knower? The Buddhist philosophers say the knower is only a construction of our imagination. The term is used by Buddhist philosophers is vikalpa. So knowing knower is not an object of knowledge, rather it is an object of vikalpa. So the Buddhist philosophers make a clear distinction that one is an object of knowledge, and another one is actually not object of knowledge, rather it is object of construction. It is an object of vikalpa. Vikalpa is actually an action of our mind. This is to say imagination. So it is a part of, it is an object of imagination, kalpana. So this is a kalpana, because if we take the Vaibhashika position, Sautrantic position, it is simply a kind of kalpana, vikalpa. Atman is a kind of vikalpa. Then if we take the Yogachara position, Atman is vikalpa. Here also Atman is vikalpa. And I am many times puzzled to understand the theory which is known as Atma Khyātivāda. Because nowhere in Buddhist texts this theory is called Atma Khyātivāda. Rather, where Vijnanavadin's theory is understood as Atma Khyātivāda, this term is actually given by other philosophers other than Buddhist philosophers. So Atma Khyati, where the cognition itself is understood, imposed, cognition itself is known. There is nothing different from cognition. So this is the Yogachar idea. And Madhyamik idea is also, because here also the cognition, the knower is actually part of the object of vikalpa. So in all these three philosophies, the Atman, which is accepted by the Nāyayikas as a substance, actually a kind of imagination, an object of this imagination. So it is an imaginary thing, like Shashashringa, the hare's horn. So where does hare's horn exist? Hare's horn does not exist anywhere. Only it is found in our imagination. So for the Buddhist philosophers, Atman does not exist. Atman is found only in our imagination. Buddha told that this is actually Moola Avidya, the basic confusion. This is actually the basic confusion where all confusions arise, where from all the confusions arise. So you can see that here these two positions are completely opposite positions. And you may wonder if there is any possibility for a dialogue, for a debate, because the Nāyayikas cannot give up the idea of Atman, cannot give up the idea of knower. And for them, every knowledge which is saying, which is taking the form aham idam janami, is actually knowing the Atman also. So in all these cognitions, where what is known as anubhyavasaya, in Nyāya tradition it is known as anubhyavasaya, Ghatamaham janami. So I know the pot. So when I am knowing the pot, I am not only knowing the pot, but I am also knowing that I know. So I am knowing that I know. So this is the, and what is this I? This knower is actually depicted, explained as I. So you can say that the knowledge of Atman is actually I consciousness. Where we know I, that is actually knowledge of Atman, that is actually knowledge of knower. In Upanishads, there is a question raised. Atma gyataram va are kena vijaniyat. How could we know the knower? And in Upanishads, this idea, this question takes a mystic turn because it appears that there is no possibility of knowing the knower in the same way as we know the objects of this world. As all other objects of our awareness are known, in the same way we cannot know the Atman, the knower. So this is the idea in Upanishads. But the Nyayikas say that there is no harm in accepting that the Atman is known in our this day-to-day life. Because our all behavior is based on the consciousness of our all responsibility, our all actions, our all every consciousness is based on this idea of Atman, and this idea of Atman is not actually an imaginary idea. Rather, it is coming from our experience. Because when we take the Buddhist position, they have made this very simple statement that there are two types of cognitions. And actually, this is my term. I am using this term. Nowhere in Buddhist texts, these two, this way, this is defined that there are two types of cognitions. Because they have made these two separate things. One is knowledge, and another one is kalpana, vikalpa. So, what is the object of knowledge? That is known as swalakshana. And what is the object of imagination? That is actually vikalpa, or you can say that is samanya lakshana. So that is, and there are some more points can be added to it. So intersubjectivity, actually, when it is said samanya lakshana, it is coming at the realm of intersubjectivity, where and this is what is known as swalakshana. It is coming at the in the realm of objectivity. What is object? What is objective? That is swalakshana. What is the object? That is swalakshana. And what is samanya lakshana? That is actually intersubjective. And being subjective means being not objective. It is different from object. This is not true. This is not real. In other terms, in English, we can use the term real. So, real is only what is swalakshana, and what is not swalakshana, that is not real. So, Atman is not real for the Buddhists. It is only a composed entity, or you can say it is a constructed unity, constructed object. So this is an object of vikalpa. So this Atman should not be accepted. But the point is this one: why do the Nayayikas accept it, and how do the Buddhists can do well without accepting the existence of knower? So you can see the Buddhist position is this one, that there is a collection, and that collection can perform everything, and on the basis of that collection, everything is done. So we need not impose any entity which is not there in order to explain things. So there are for Vaibhashikas and Sotrantikas, there are 5 skandhas: Sangya, Sanskar, Vedana, Vijnana, and Rupa. Rupa, Sangya, Sanskar, Vedana, and Vijnana. So you can see roughly, you can divide that. Rupa Sanghat is actually physical, and Sangya, Sanskar, Vedana, and Vijnana. These 4 are actually different types of Chetana, consciousness. So all these are internal. These are not. These can be considered as chitta. So there is only chitta, and there is a object, and there is no knower at all. So you can see for Buddhists, there is a process of knowing, but there is no one who knows. There is a process of doing, but there is no one who does it. And it goes against our common sense, because in our day-to-day life we are so much experienced to these type of ideas, where we think, we do, we know that we do. So there is one doer, there is one knower. All these ideas are completely inherent in our day-to-day life. So those will be very difficult to explain from Buddhist perspective. But they would say that actually whatever you are taking here is actually not needed. Without it, we can do well. And this experience, what is happening, it is actually, there are everything is momentary, and you cannot establish anything which is not momentary, which is existent in 2 moments. So in order to have an identity between 2 things, the knower and the person who remembers, the knower and the doer, because you know first, the knowledge is at first moment, later on you remember, and later on you do. So you can see that there are 3 moments at least. One is the moment when the person knows, second when the person remembers, and third when the person does. And this is not reducible more than these 3 moments. These 2 moments cannot be reduced to 2 moments or 1 moment. These 3 moments are to be accepted in every case. And there could be a possibility that uh, the knowledge appeared 5 years ago. Now I am remembering, and later on I am acting. So this can be done. This can be the possibility, but there is no possibility to reduce 3 moments. So here the time is long, but if you make a compact time zone, in that way also there must be 3 moments. So when we are taking this idea, these 3 moments must be there, and this will not be possible to reduce these 3 moments to one and another. And here the point is this one, that these 3 moments are not identical. Therefore, there is no person who is existent in these 3 moments. So this can be understood. What is happening? We have knowledge. There is a knowledge of, suppose there is knowledge of X, remembrance of X, and the performance regarding X. There is no one like Y who is having this knowledge of X. So X is not there. This is to say, there is no person who is knowing, no person who is doing, no person who is remembering. So the idea of Buddhist philosophy is to deconstruct this person. So there is no person at all. So there is no person, only process is going on. This is the Buddhist idea. And this idea is not acceptable to Nyayikas. In Nyāya Kusumanjali, very importantly, Udayanacharya refuted the idea of Charvak philosophers, and in the same way, he refuted the idea of Buddhist philosophers. There is a Karika in third Stabaka. Nanya drishtam smaratyannyo नैकं भूतमपक्रमात् वासना संक्रमो नास्ति न च गत्यन्तरं स्थिरे नान्यदृष्टं स्मरत्यन्यो. So who is seeing, who is watching, who is experiencing, the same person should remember. This is not possible that Devadatta has observed and later on Yajnadatta is remembering. And if we believe that the body is the knower, there will be a great difficulty, because at the time of childhood, the body is something different, and at the time of adulthood, the body is different, and that body is not identical. These two bodies are completely different. It is established through our perception. So, nanyadrishtam smaratyanyah. Naikam bhutam apakramat. So one bhuta cannot transform it to other. And there is no possibility of transition. The transition of sanskaras, vasanas, sanskar, impression. There is no possibility of transition of impressions, and therefore there is no possibility, if you believe that the knower and the doer are identical, if there is sthirata, there is astairya, there is someone existing from one moment and to another moment. If you believe in it, you are forced to accept that there is an Atman who is doing it, because the such type of existence is not possible. Acceptance is not possible in the body, because body is not existing from one moment to another, and these two moments are completely opposite moments, different moments. So it is not possible that one is transferring to another. Here it is said in the commentary, written Sopagya commentary by Udayanacharya, Nahi bhutanam samudaya paryavasitam chaitanyam pratidinam tasya anyatve purva divasanubhutasya asmarana prasanga. Because the body is different every day. So yesterday what you experienced, you won't be able to remember today. And we are remembering whatever what we experienced yesterday. It is true that everything we do not remember, whatever we experienced yesterday, but we remember only those which are experienced earlier. We do not remember something which is not experienced by ourselves. Therefore, there is no possibility of identity in the body. And if identity of knower and doer and rememberer is to be accepted, we are forced to accept that there is an Atman who is different from body. And here, if you postulate, if you present the position as the Buddhists say that nacha upadano padeya bhava niyamo gatihi. This is the Buddhist position. They would say that what happens, actually there is upadano padeya bhava. Actually there is no identity, but why Devadatta, who is known as Devadatta, is only remembering what is experienced by the person known by Devadatta, because there is upadano padeya bhava. The earlier moments are actually upadanas, causes of later moments. Therefore, there is a transition of actually there is no transition, but it appears to be transition. So everything which is acquired by, suppose I say that y1 is the experiencer, and there is y2 who remembers, and y3 does. So here y1 is actually experiencer, and y2 is actually upadeya, is produced, is a product of y1. Therefore y1 y2 is actually able to remember. Therefore there is every identity is possible, concept of identity, experience of identity, imagination of identity is possible. So this is the Buddhist position, and here the Nyayikas say, no, it is not possible at all, because your all theory can be accepted. It is only if there everything is momentary, if everything is momentary is proved. This is to say, if this theory kshanikatva siddha vevametat, it is possible only if everything is momentary, this statement is proved. But it cannot be proved that everything is momentary. And therefore, whatever, this is the point, that whatever is coming in our experience as an object, this is to say, like pot or other things, these can be established at momentary. But this Atman who is knowing, I am concluding just in 2-3 minutes. So these are positions, if we take, this is no possibility to establish that everything is momentary. So this Atman who is remembering and who is experiencing, this is not this, there is no possibility. So the Nyaya argument to prove the knower, existence of knower beyond one moment, this is to say, and actually the argument of Nayayikas is to prove the existence of knower beyond one moment. And this is ridiculous, this is very puzzling, this is very amazing to see that from this statement, this if it is proved that the knower exists beyond one moment, this is established that Atman exists eternally. Because the idea is that who knows, the same person remembers and the same person acts. And if this is accepted, we have to accept, we have to believe that this knowing, remembering, and acting goes beyond 3 moments, and it actually goes beyond this life. Therefore, there is Atman to be accepted, as the Nayayikas say. And this is actually a very brief talk, and I could not develop so many ideas, and therefore I have taken this point from Nyāya Kusumanjali only, because actually Nyāya Kusumanjali is written only to prove the existence of God. So 5 stabakas are there, and Atma Tattva Vivek is written to establish the existence of Atman, to refute the Buddhist position. But to take the Buddhist position so rigorously, it will take so much time, and we do not have so much time today. So in brief, it is established here because Atman, the one type, one Atma Vishesha is actually God. Therefore, this idea, these two ideas, the existence of Atman and the existence of God, are somehow related. Therefore, a few places, Udayanacharya had explained this idea also. So I have taken that point and explained this idea. I think I could explain a few points. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Namaste.
Namaste, sir. Thank you very much for a very excellent, very insightful perspective from the Nyaya Darshana. Thank you very much for taking time for this program. We are very grateful to you.